Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pole Position Sim Racing. I'm Corey, and today we're taking a look at the Cube Controls GT Pro V2 hub paired with the Cube Controls Zero Rubber steering wheel. First, I want to start off by saying this video is not sponsored, but everything mentioned will be linked below. Getting into the steering wheel real quick, from grip to grip you're looking at 298 millimeters with a max grip thickness of 41 millimeters. It's also compatible with any hub or quick release with a 70mm bolt pattern. A quick overview on the hub, it does have a front face made out of carbon fiber with the back body made of aluminum. Also, there's 15 programmable RGB LEDs throughout the hub itself, along with 30 inputs on the front face alone. The hub is available in a 2-paddle and a 4-paddle variant, coming with a blue and a black color variant as well. When purchasing the hub by itself, you'll receive the Cube Controls QCon magnetic coiled USB cable, along with a sticker pack and a set of tweezers to be able to put them on the button faces easier. If you wind up buying the hub and wheel combo, you'll also receive the universal hub adapter as well. Starting off with a little bit about the hub, it can be connected by the USB cable that's supplied, or also wirelessly by Bluetooth. With the battery life on the wireless connection, you're looking at 40 hours of gameplay without any LEDs on, or 10 hours of consistent gameplay with the LEDs at 100%. As I said, there is 15 programmable RGB LEDs. You have 5 in your RPM strip, 6 in your momentary buttons, 2 in your analog switches, and 2 down here at your rotary encoders. There's also 30 inputs on the front. Starting from top to bottom, you have 6 momentary push buttons, 2 thumb encoders, 2 on-off toggle switches in the center here. Moving on from there, you have your 2 7-way funky switches with the common function of up, down, left, right, push button, and as I said, encoder. And below that, you have your 2 thumb encoders, bringing you up to a total of 30 inputs. You also do have your connection status LED and your battery indicator LED. Moving on to the back, as I've said, we have the 4-paddle variant here. So you do have your shifters and your clutches at the bottom. When choosing the colorways, as I mentioned before, you're choosing the sensor housing color along with the universal hub adapter color if you bought the steering wheel and hub combo. Your shifters and clutches do both have adjustments. Your clutches have adjustments down here at the end stop, and your shifters have adjustments on the angles, as well as both of them having adjustments for the paddles themselves to be able to pull them in and out. Just into some of the detail, they have a beautiful carbon print or possibly just carbon shifters. The sensors on the back here are all switchless sensors, meaning that there's no micro switch in there that you're going to be clicking on, which gives less chance of a false reading for your inputs. Down here at the bottom for your dual clutch system, you do have stiffer springs to allow an easier modulation through the clutch release. You can also set the clutches up in the CubeSet software to have a clutch bite activation point. Getting into the software as well, you do have the CubeSet software, which allows you to program the clutch bite activation point along with the LED colors. This wheel is also compatible with SimHub, where you'll be able to get even more functionality out of the wheel itself, with telemetry LEDs and even more. As far as pricing goes, if you were to buy the variant that we have here today, with the sale that they have going on the Cube Controls website right now, if you're watching at the end of September 2024 up to October 2024, you're looking at $866 for this 4-paddle variant with the rubber steering wheel, or $835 alone for just the 4-paddle variant. If you wanted the 2-paddle variant with the steering wheel, it's $745 or $692. If you wanted any of these with the blue color variant, you'd be looking at about an extra $20 US on top of any of those prices. As I said, Cube Controls is running a sale right now depending on when you're watching this. Otherwise, normally these wheels would be varying anywhere from $8 to up to $1,000 depending on what model you were to get and how many paddles you had. And for us American customers, all these prices were coming from Cube Control's website after converted from euros to US dollars at the current exchange rate. On to some things that I noticed out the box, the first thing I had noticed when pressing on the buttons at first, there's no recession on any of these buttons to place a sticker easier in center. Another thing that I had noticed, and I had to put a sticker on to notice it at all, to just confirm it, is the button does have a slight twist to it. Not very much, but it's literally like an eighth of a turn, maybe a 16th of a turn. Not as much as a lot of other wheels out there. It is a moving part. There is to be some motion in it. You don't notice it during gameplay, but I guess something I realized while playing in the dark is the LEDs do bleed through on the buttons. That might be able to be solved if they were to have used some type of different diffuser on the plastic or on the button casings. Again, does not affect gameplay. You're not going to notice it. Along with playing in the dark, if you have these on and this was shadowed out, there is a bit of light leak up here at the top of the RPMs from the toggle switches. But aside from the light leak, there's really nothing out the ordinary that I've noticed off the first initial handling of this wheel that brings any type of concern. The quality definitely feels amazing. The inputs is very, very crisp. It's a very solid feel when you're engaging. There's no mistake about it. Same thing with the clutch inputs. They're very nice and very stiff. Really easy to tell how fast and how slow you are letting it out at. Some things that I did like with the steering wheel right away out the box. It has an amazing shifter feel. It's very crisp. It's definitely not a wheel that you're going to be using if you're playing in the same room as people are sleeping. I also do like the surrounding they have around the buttons, so you're never accidentally going to press any of those. Same thing with the 7-way funky switch. There's a little cover around there so you're not going to accidentally turn the encoder function on there. Also, these don't register until you hear that click, noticeable input. You could press that to the side all you want. If you don't hear that click, it's not registering an input. So I do like that. There's no false inputs on the 7-way funky switches. I have had those problems with certain ones in the past, especially when coming down to confirming if I have to do like a button press in. I have not had that problem yet on these, luckily, knock on wood. Getting into some of the other types of steering wheels, like I mentioned before, this Zero wheel also comes in a suede and a leather. They also have a 298 millimeter D-shaped wheel, as well as a 320 millimeter round wheel that you can buy. So my final first impression thoughts on the hub and the wheel combination, I love it. I can't lie. It has definitely become one of my main go-to wheels, especially with the GT3 racing that I've been doing recently. Longer stints, it's definitely one of my more comfortable wheels, I'd say, as well, just for the ergonomics of it. I don't feel like my hands are stretching at any point to do anything on this wheel. The overall sound and just the feel of it, you feel like you're holding a nice solid piece of machinery almost. I feel this wheel is almost perfect just out the box. It's not super light, it's not super heavy though. It's a good balance. The gameplay with it, as far as using it, is phenomenal. I'm not tired after using it, even with force feedback turned all the way. But with all that being said, let's get ready for some quick shifts, some clean overtakes, and once again, this is pole position sim racing, and that's lights out. Let's go race.